What if the future of the Toronto Blue Jays isn't being forged under the bright lights of Rogers Centre, but thousands of miles away on dusty diamonds where floodlights flicker and dreams travel faster than fastballs? While most fans argue endlessly about trades, contracts, and who should bat third, Toronto has quietly dropped a thunderclap that could echo through the next decade of baseball history, and almost no one heard it coming. On Wednesday, the Blue Jays officially announced the signing of 27 international free agents for the 2026 class. And this wasn't a polite tiptoe into the market, it was a full-throated declaration. At the center of it all stands Venezuelan catcher One Kerakote, who secured a staggering $1.95 million bonus, the largest international signing bonus the franchise has ever handed out. That number doesn't whisper ambition, it shouts it from the rooftops. But here's where the story deepens, because this move was never about just one name. Toronto cast a global net, hauling in 11 pitchers, 6 infielders, 5 catchers, and 4 outfielders from baseball hotbeds across Latin America and Asia. Dominican prospects Michael Mesa at $900,000 and Anudi Severino at $700,000 complete the podium, marking the second and third largest international bonuses in Blue Jays history. Pause on that for a second, because in one signing period, this franchise shattered its own records 3 separate times, as if daring the rest of the league to keep up. This isn't spending for spending's sake. This feels like a philosophical shift, a recalibration of how Toronto intends to survive and thrive. For years, the Blue Jays chased certainty, established stars, proven names, and watched as homegrown pipelines ran dry at the worst possible moments. Now, the organization is turning back to the roots of sustained success, betting heavily on the international market that once delivered a teenager named Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and then, curiously, was allowed to gather dust. And the timing could not be more telling. With uncertainty swirling around Bo Bichette's long-term future and the championship window creaking louder each season, building a deep and sustainable farm system isn't just wise, it's essential. This is the front office acknowledging that tomorrow matters just as much as today, even if that truth is uncomfortable. The financial chess behind this move makes it even more impressive. Toronto entered the period with $5.94 million in bonus pool money, already docked $500,000 for signing qualified free agent Anthony Santander, and with another $1 million forfeited from the 2027 pool to land Dylan Cease. By all logic, this should have been a restrained offseason. Instead, it became aggressive, imaginative, and unapologetic. The reason traces back to a quietly brilliant pivot. The trade of Miles Straw brought in $2 million in international bonus funds from Cleveland, money initially earmarked for Japanese phenom Roki Sasaki, who ultimately chose the Dodgers. Rather than sulk, Toronto adapted, redirecting those resources into a broader vision and landing Korean pitcher Se-Yoon Moon, the first Korean-born player ever signed internationally by the Blue Jays. That's not just roster building, that's market expansion. International signings are baseball's longest game. These teenagers won't sniff the majors for 3 to 5 years, but when they arrive affordable. In an era of luxury tax anxiety and ballooning contracts, these players represent 6 full years of cost-controlled talent. This isn't desperation, it's patience weaponized. History already hints that this approach works. Juan Sanchez, signed for just under $1 million in 2025, is already opening eyes in the minors. Silvano Javier, a modest $240,000 signing in 2024, reached High A Vancouver in his first North American season. These aren't fairy tales, they're early returns. And then there's Kerakote. Why gamble nearly $2 million on a 16-year-old catcher? Because catchers are baseball's rarest currency. A defensively sound backstop who can hit even passably becomes priceless overnight. If Kerakote develops into a starting caliber catcher by 2030, that bonus will look laughably small compared to the $15 to $20 million per year veterans command at the position. Of course, risk lurks everywhere. International scouting is volatile, unforgiving, and merciless. For every superstar, dozens fade away in rookie ball, undone by cultural shifts, language barriers, or the sheer brutality of professional baseball.
Toronto is betting that its scouts consistently see what others miss, and that's a wager that takes courage. So where does this leave the Blue Jays as we edge closer to 2027? Somewhere between thrilling and uncertain. This international haul is both an investment in hope and a quiet admission that the current core alone may not be enough. But maybe the smartest organizations build two teams at once, one to compete now and one to dominate later. As these prospects begin their journeys through the Dominican Summer League, Vancouver, and beyond, fans of the Blue Jays report should pay close attention. These names may feel distant today, but tomorrow they could be the heartbeat of October baseball in Toronto. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the future of the franchise, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Blue Jays Report for more stories that look beyond the headlines. Drop a comment below and tell me which prospect excites you most, because while everyone else debates trades, the real dynasty might already be taking shape, quietly, patiently, one international signing at a time.